First time?
Yeah.
You was a crazy fucker. Giving up college?
Didn't make much sense. I wasn't learning anything. I figured why should just the poor kids go off to war and the rich kids always get away with it?
If Jesus came back as an American, born in New York City the day after we won World War II, what would he think of Vietnam after he got drafted 21 years later? What would he think of what we did in Iran today? Let's take a brief look at a movie that explores this question by looking at some of the Christian symbolism in Platoon. More than just a critique of Vietnam, this movie exposes the tensions and conflict at the heart of American society, tensions that date back to our Christian origins. In this scene, the protagonist, Taylor, returns to his unit after being hurt in his first battle in Vietnam.
Hey, Taylor, what's in the breeze?
Okay. Got light duty. 3 days worth.
No shit.
Yeah.
Well, too bad we in base camp anyway.
Note how many days he's been gone by. This is the first hint that Taylor is our Christ figure, our Jesus figure in this story. Remember, Jesus died and remained dead for 3 days before coming back to life.
Now, both of you come with me. I got a little job for you.
Oh, motherfucker! Back to the world. Hey, Taylor, how long you got left? 300 and what?
32. 332 days.
Seen lie, my boy.
I can't even remember when I was 332, man. You gotta, like, count backwards or something, you know, like you got 40 days in. I mean, think positive, dude.
Hey, Taylor, how in the fuck you get here anyway? Hey, you look educated.
I volunteered for it.
You did what?
I volunteered. I dropped out of college and told them I wanted the infantry, combat, in Vietnam.
You volunteered for this shit, man?
Believe that?
You was a crazy fucker. Giving up college?
Didn't make much sense. I wasn't learning anything. I figured why should just the poor kids go off to war and the rich kids always get away with it?
Oh, I see. What we got here is a crusader.
Sounds like it.
Shit. You gotta be rich in the first place to think like that. Everybody know. The poor always being fucked over by the rich. Always have, always will.
Keith David's character, whose name is King, is making a common reflection about the story of Jesus Christ. Why would a God become man? Why would an immortal, omniscient, omnipotent being choose to live through the trials of a mortal life? Why would he willingly experience death, especially a death as humiliating as a public Roman crucifixion? Only someone truly ignorant of what he's getting into would make such a wager. This God must truly be ignorant. And this insight holds true for the story itself. It holds true for the war in Vietnam, the history of the United States in its entirety. The story of Christ laid bare really is just a story of rich versus poor, and perhaps how naivety is really just ignorance with a trust fund. After all, to someone living through the hell of Vietnam, the lofty protective cocoon of an Ivy League campus is heaven. We have a president who himself was an Ivy Leaguer and was able to be excused from military service. So that shows you the level of wealth and influence people in that strata of our society have. Willingly ditching that power and choosing to join recruits in Vietnam is beyond innocence. It's crazy. King, however, manages to look past the surface. He isn't interested in putting Christ down. On the contrary, much like Dismas, the penitent thief, King is willing to listen and find out more about why this God decided to become a man. If someone has everything, they literally came from heaven, then there must be a reason why they're choosing to give up that experience in exchange for something that you have, even if you feel condemned to be the one possessing it. Listen, black people that want to not be black for whatever reason. This is important. You have to ask yourself, why would privileged white men who built America need all of these other races in their empire?
Wow.
I tell you what, you be cool. I introduce you around to some of the heads.
What are the heads?
Later, man. Your Highness has arrived. Hey, what's up? Hey, what's that? Thought you was hanging Santa Cambodia. Look at this. Yeah, man. Come on, man. Yeah.
King's name is King, so he's referencing himself when he says, Your Highness has arrived. However, a monarch's arrival is usually announced by someone else, usually someone that is within their service. In this light, King's announcement is actually for Chris, and it doubles as a reference to the title King of Kings. Originally, that was a military honorific for the emperors of Persia. This phrase was later adopted by Christians to refer to Jesus Christ, labeling him as the spiritual emperor of the world. Finally, Your Highness is also a tongue-in-cheek reference to the recreational drug use they're about to partake in. Despite the fact that cannabis was demonized by the Western institutions at the time, including institutions today, the federal government still lists it as a Schedule I drug, it was able to reduce a lot of the barriers, a lot of the social stigma between different groups of society, commingling, especially in Vietnam.
What you doing in the underworld, Taylor?
The King of Kings approaches. He is questioned by a soldier who is seated on a throne. This soldier, kind of like Charon in the mythology of Greece, is asking for the coin, for the passage that this soul needs to enter the underworld.
Well, this here ain't Taylor. Taylor been shot. This man here is Chris. He been resurrected.
The man before them is no longer Taylor, but Chris, someone that has been resurrected, someone that has been born again. Now, Chris is a short form of Christopher or Christian. Christopher meaning a bearer of Christ. Christian meaning Christ-like. And Christ itself is an English translation of a Greek word, Christos, which is a Greek translation of the Hebrew Mashiach or Messiah, which means anointed one, or the one who brings blessings, who brings anointing, or who is set apart and is special. Going back to this whole idea of King of Kings, to be Chris means to be someone that is bringing blessings, that is bringing something special to the audience that you are encountering. Chris's arrival in the underworld represents a redemption for the men in his camp. They come from different worlds with different privileges, but the commonality of their experience, their community that they created, that they forged just by being together in Vietnam, will transform their understanding of each other in ways that discussions or arguments about class and class consciousness and theory never could.
Go ahead on, man. Smoke it. Get here.
This shit's in the wind, troop. Ah. First time?
Yeah.
Then the worm has definitely turned for you, man.
The idiom, the worm has turned, refers to fate and how, given the right circumstances, even the weakest can turn around and rise up against their oppressors, or grow a backbone, if you will. Funny enough, Jesus himself says something like this in Matthew chapter 5. Blessed are the meek, the worms, for they shall inherit the earth. This is what the God became man for, to partake in the inheritance of the meek, which is resilience. Loss to those who have never lost before is a pain worse than death. The lowly worm persists, unlike the king. Resilience. Taken for granted until the moment when the worms turn and the privilege must face the enduring. In the span of 6 minutes, Platoon uses religious symbolism to shed light on the desperate chaos of American society. We built a city on a hill by manufacturing little hells all throughout the world, engineered for profit. Those who have the power to effect high-level changes remain largely uninterested, protected by their privilege and influence in heavens they created on the coast of the United States. Meanwhile, the poor are forced to do the dirty work, or in some hell very far away, in the heartland, across the border, in Vietnam, somewhere out of sight. Heaven, hell, they aren't places or a set of principles, but rather they are experiences cultivated by communities. A community that fosters chaos, sacrificial rituals, child endangerment, exclusionary heavens and never-ending hells will continue to foster that sort of environment until it peters out. A true Messiah, rather than trying to be Captain Save-A-Ho or save everybody in the neighborhood, first seeks self-acceptance. Once you're okay with belonging to yourself and being alone, then you can go out and branch out, connect with other people using your discernment to see who are the type of people that are along the same sort of path as you, seeking peace and trying to build community, versus those that are just trying to, foment more disruption and chaos.
First time?